Hello, hello, hello. How you doing, everybody? I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my stream. Thank you for tuning in here. We're taking it easy today, kicking it back a little bit, because we got some content coming up for you guys. We're doing a little work in the seat behind the scenes, and we got some White History Month content coming up for you guys. We got some stuff I want to do on this channel. And so we're doing a little bit of a research stream, preparing for some of these events, man on the street stuff that we want to get done. So thank you for being with me today. We'll still be taking calls, and we'll be getting into some news, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But again, it'll be taking it easy. I gotta get some gains too. You guys don't mind if I get in my clam chowder, don't you? But yeah, happy White History Month to everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. And we got a bit of a show. I mean, just a little bit. We do have a little bit of news. It's definitely a chill stream. Thank you for tuning in from Germany. But welcome to the stream. You can call in 844-900-2229 if you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about. But we'll be, like I said, preparing for a couple of things. We'll get through some news. See, I personally want to... I want to do a man on the street on this channel because I just want to ask people stuff about Epstein. Maybe a couple of related things, but I just want to ask the public, the liberal public maybe. I think there's Republicans in California, but I want to ask them, what do you think about Epstein? What do you know about it? And so we're going to get a little educated today, research some things, not necessarily to debate people, but I want to be knowledgeable because you never know where we could take a conversation out there. And I just want to hear people out. What do they care about? What do they really know? And if they knew a couple of little interesting facts, I wonder if they would think differently. We could be a little controversial. I think we have unique takes on some of this stuff, but we'll get into all that. We got to do a little bit of research. I want to be up on some things. Knowledge, call it whatever you want. It's definitely not out of a fascination with the topic. So we are preparing for a man on the street. We're also I don't know. We also need to kind of not think out some stuff, but just maybe work on a few things here for some Jesse man on the street. So you're getting a little bit of a preview, my viewers here, of some content coming up. So, kick it back a bit here on this fine Tuesday. It's a pleasure. Fine Wednesday. It's a pleasure to have you here. And what else can I say, folks? We got to get into it here. There's some news. And I know the Epstein stuff. We're going to be researching some stuff here. I want to get some stuff straight. The accusers, Virginia Giuffre, what people think about it. What people think, what MAGA has said about it. And even to answer an interesting question here, what are the Epstein files? In the minds of the public, in the minds of most people, I gather, they say, oh, there's a client list, some Rolodex that shows all their crimes. It's definitely very shallow thinking. Now, I'm not saying there is no client list, but it's more like here's the thing. There's a number of documents and stuff that has been released and is public. There's a number of things that has been reported to be in the possession of people and has been redacted. So when people say, what are the Epstein files? We're going to try and figure that one out too. What exactly are the Epstein files? Because to some, it's a client list, a black book showing all the crimes. To others, it's to others, it's like to others kind of thinking a little bit more. It's what are his connections? What has been redacted? Are you going to unredact it? There's commentary that there's videos and stuff like that, and that it's not shown, but it has been reported that it's in the possession of people. So when people say, what are the Epstein files? Let's get a little educated, especially if we're going to go out there on the street and all that. Okay, we got the lines open, by the way. That's 844-900-2229.
Ready to connect.
If you want to talk with the anchor baby here. But what else? It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. What's up, C-Sal? What's up, Chat EBT? Tim Roscoe from Germany, I think. Is that Germany? Thank you so much, everybody. Kevin Jepp. Birdie Bound Brian. Very cool. Very cool. No, C-Sal, it's just the curls are looking crazy today. Well, kind of matted down while the hat looks a little bit better, but we're definitely just trying to contain the DNA today. We are containing the DNA today. But we'll get the curl tech right when we're out there on the street. Obviously, we got to be looks maxing. We do have the Coca-Cola on. Does it look like Fizz anymore? Is it kind of fading to a different color? It's supposed to kind of look like Coca-Cola Fizz. And it looks like I already have calls. How about we just show some love to the calls and we'll get into the research and all that. Here, hold on. Let me see what I can do here. I think I got to do this. Hey, we got somebody from who do we have on the air? Oh wait,
Jose?
Jose. Thank you for your call. Can you hear me,
Oh, man.
Jose? Am I coming in clear to you?
Yes, you are. What's up, Nick?
Thank you so
How's it
much,
going,
man.
brother?
All is well, sir. Appreciate your call. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, thank you. What's going on, buddy?
Kicking it back. We're researching and preparing for man on the street content that I want to get filmed for both my channel and Jesse's channel.
Man on the street?
Yep, man on the street. Ask the people questions on the street. Get out there.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. And then we'll do some news and we'll do calls throughout. It's pretty much the deal today. You sleeping? Are you lying down? You sound like
I'm awake.
you have bedroom voice.
Oh, I'm awake. That's fine.
Jose,
Yes? I'm
how you
still
doing,
on.
man? What you calling about?
God. Hear, God, fear, follow. Jose, Chungi, Christ.
You're losing me, man. What are you talking about? Chungi? What'd you say?
David, do. David, do. Jose.
Jose, man, what'd you calling about? You have a question or comment?
ABC7 news footage, men of New Jersey org.
What the? I don't think he's trying to call me. I think he's trying to talk to somebody else. I think he called me by accident. Oh. Okay, I thought he called me by accident. My bad, chat. You guys are telling me you guys know him. You guys are telling me you guys know him? Oh, my bad, chat. Yeah, no, I thought he was making a mistake. I thought he called the wrong number. My bad. I didn't. Oh, my bad, chat. You guys know him. Oh, okay. My bad, caller. Call me some other time. I thought you were calling the wrong number. All right. All right, let's see here. Now, 844-900-2229. I'll leave the number on the screen. All right, let's do this. All right, let's see here. Let me move my chair. I gotta be careful with this because I need to secure my camera. It could drop if I move too much. Here we go. So, let's see here. Now, there was an interesting, I think he's a liberal, Tim from The Bulwark, Tim Miller. Let's watch some of this because we're going to try and extract some threads out of this video. This man explains what is likely still hidden in the so-called Epstein files. And he details some of this. Because it's like, what is it that people are talking about, right? When they say the Epstein files. There may be somewhat of an answer to that. So I want to get that straight. Let's get our documents right. Let's see. Let's open up. Let's make something new here. Man on the street. How about that? Let's just call it that. How do we do properties? Let's do how do we do a line break? There you go. Okay. Epstein, right? That's the first one we're going to deal with. Epstein. And here are the things that we want to deal with. Nick, mental illness is not the path for the show. What do you mean? The Bulwark full of homosexual fake Republic? I thought this was a liberal channel. Look, I just thought it was like a liberal channel, but we listen to all the people, kind of gather the threads they're pulling on. We don't necessarily believe everything we hear. Let it go in one ear, out the other. But listening to at least people that you at least consider somewhat smart, even if you disagree, is kind of a good way of learning things, in my opinion. Now, let's see here.
Hey everybody, Tim Miller from the Bulwark here. I'm sure many of you, like me,
So that's the first thing I want to do, the Epstein files. What are the Epstein files? So-called Epstein files. Because when they're talking about it, some are talking about a real thing. Nick, don't bring up Epstein stuff if you're just gonna shill, Nick. It just annoys everyone. Oh, my bad. It annoys you when I'm just honest. Oh, sorry. So this is what an honest person sounds like. Sorry, don't sound like you want me to sound like. Nice to have you here, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh man, my stomach keeps growling, and I think my food is ready. So you guys gotta just chill a sec, okay? Because the Anchor Baby's got to challenge some clam chowder while we research this stuff, okay? Just give me a sec. Yeah, we're gonna need to get it mounted differently because every time I get up, I'm gonna bounce this cam.
Music. I don't know what you're doing, but
Try to be a little careful
you
here.
must be doing something right. Thank you, sir.
Try to be a little careful here. I guess I should move myself.
This one, Mr. Boston,
Stay out of the way of the chat.
seems to like you. I like it back.
Okay. It ate too much hot sauce. A white man would have ate while Hake's show was going. You're not talking to a white man, maybe, sort of. The conspiracy is I may be someone white. But you got the wrong guy. And the gains must come. They have to. Thanks for calling, by the way. 844-900-2229. We'll get to calls here. But where was I? We gotta get the gains. Look, I'm at 210, 215, 210 for reps on squat. Rocking 170 for reps on bench, baby. Okay. Not working that hard even. Okay, so the Epstein list. Let's see. What are people talking about what are some people talking about when they say the Epstein files? There may be an answer to that.
me have been wondering what exactly is in the Epstein files. Like, what are they? What is already public? What is secret? What could we possibly learn if the files were released? What form are they in? And so I just wanted to do a little public education journalism for you and really break this out in a way that is easy to digest and understand. And I'm doing it all thanks to our girl, Julie K. Brown at the Miami Herald. So please do go support her journalism, follow her on social media. This is an article that she wrote in the Miami Herald. We've done 2 interviews with her on this platform. You can go watch those as well. We'll link to them in the show notes. I did one a while ago. Bill Crystal did one on Sunday. So I'm cribbing from Julie Brown here, but I do think it's important to get this into the video world. What exactly is in the Epstein files? So here's what they list out for what is still.
All right, let's see. They have an article here. Reality check. Reality check the Epstein files. Julie K. Brown. Okay. Can we get her article? What is public and what is still secret? Okay. We got the article.
Still secret. For starters, Epstein's computers. And I've mentioned this on a couple of podcasts. The second raid of his Manhattan mansion in 2019, where they seized computers, what appeared to be some CDs. Mansion in 2019, on a couple of podcasts. The second raid of his Manhattan mansion. So here's what they list out for what is still secret. For starters, Epstein's computers. And I've mentioned this on a couple of podcasts. The second raid of his Manhattan mansion in 2019, where they seized computers, what appeared to be some CDs. The FBI, it's unknown actually whether the FBI examined them. At the same time, a search was conducted of his U.S. Virgin Islands property, but that occurred many weeks after his arrest. Julie Brown says that sources on the island told her paper in 2019 that his employees removed boxes of computers and video equipment before that search was conducted. So maybe there's nothing from USVI, but we know the FBI got at least computers, video equipment, CDs from his Manhattan mansion in 2019. All right. There was another batch of computers that were taken when he was first arrested in 2005. That was his Palm Beach home. He lived down in Palm Beach by Mar-a-Lago. It's how him and Trump were connected in the first place. During that investigation, it was later learned that his lawyers kept access to those computers and those files. We don't know whether the FBI was ever able to get their hands on them. But some of that was returned to Epstein in 2008 after he pleaded guilty to minor sex charges. So potentially some material there. So the Epstein computers and the videos. Related to the video.
Cool. Like, we'll corroborate some of that, get this to articles, and just kind of like pack that away for ourselves. I'm not even I'm not interested in. Oh, I got a call here, by the way. We'll get to you in a sec. I just want to, when I'm talking to people out there, I want to be able to clear up some things if should it come up. Hey, call me back, whoever you were. Out of Ohio. Call me back. 844. What? 844-900-2229. Aye. All right, let's see here.
He also had cameras at his property.
Don't make fun of my short form. I'm just typing fast. We're going to get it all right. The list is just a recipe for hazelnut cookies.
Epstein's brother and Epstein himself and allies have claimed that these cameras were only security cameras. However, several of Epstein's victims claimed that the sexual encounters were taped and used as blackmail. No one, however, has seen any of the videos. It's reasonable to assume that in the Epstein files, along with his computers, could be security camera footage from his homes. None of that has ever come out. We also have what is in the FBI's vault. The FBI releases files on its website, as this happens in many cases, just as kind of a public accountability measure. They released tens of thousands of pages from the original investigation back in 2007 and 2008. However, most of those documents have been blacked out. There have been journalists trying to get the unredacted versions of those for a long time. We know at minimum that the FBI has the unredacted versions of the documents they've already put out. And so that would also be included underneath the Epstein files. That's something we know that they have that could be gettable. There's some discussion of the client list. There's no real evidence that Epstein ever kept a list.
See, I freaking told you.
List.
You guys are laughing like, oh, why are you talking about the client list in that way? Because the anchor baby's instincts, even if he may be incorrect or inaccurate about something, the anchor baby's instincts are just like pretty much always correct here. Look, I knew that people were like looking at the client list in the wrong way. I knew it. And see, look, we got smart journalists arriving to the same conclusion. I was just reading the news, right? I'm no journalist. I'm no expert. I'm just an anchor baby. But here we got the smart journalist saying, right, the client list here. Let me clear it up for you folks. The client list, there's no evidence of an Epstein kept the client list. No, it's like a whole story, right? It's like a story. Who did he meet with? What for? And then trying to piece the evidence together for those things. And in my opinion, if you ask me, it's a lot of conjecture, hype, and stuff like that. But what else? Let's keep watching. Let's keep collecting some of this. What's up, Nate? Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. If you look at the title, we're just preparing. This is a research stream, taking it easy. We'll do news and calls, but we're just researching and kind of preparing for some man on the street content that will be filmed and coming out on the channel soon. So, happy White History Month and all that. Thanks for being here.
There's no real evidence that Epstein would also be included underneath the Epstein
Clam
files.
chowder on deck.
That's something we know that they have that could be gettable. There's some discussion of the client list. There's no real evidence that Epstein ever kept a list, so probably the Epstein files don't include like an actual list of, the pedophiles that he was, blackmailing or that were with him. There's flight logs, and there are other maybe ways to kind of compile relationships and combinations of lists that you assume that the DOJ and FBI would have had from their past investigations. That is material that's still, we know there's still other material, other evidence out there that would implicate other people, besides those who've been named on the flight logs. It's probably not like contained in a very digestible list, but that is something that's out there. The U.S. Marshal Service records.
Hold on, we need a spoon here. We cannot continue the research. The research cannot continue, folks. I'm sorry. It just can't. I'm sorry. We gotta be right back. Aye.
That is something that's.
Are we back? Mic check, mic check. Hey, call me back, Kansas. Hey, call me back, Kansas. I did not tip over my chowder. We do have bread with the chowder, though. Gotta rock it. All right, back to this.
It's out there. The evidence that the DOJ and FBI would have had from their past investigations, that is material that's still, we know there's still other material, other evidence out there that would implicate other people, besides those who've been named on the flight logs. It's probably not like contained in a very digestible list, but that
I freaking told you.
is something that's out there. The U.S. Marshal Service records. The Marshals inspected Epstein's plane when it arrived from overseas. This is the Marshal Service is under DHS.
Hold on, this one's interesting. U.S. Marshal Service records. Federal marshals were charged with inspecting Epstein's plane when it arrived from overseas. A special form was used to record the names of his passengers upon arrival at airports in New York and the USVI, Virgin Islands. Little St. James, the Marshals Service, which is under the umbrella of the Department of Homeland Security, released some of these forms pursuant to a FOIA request by the Herald in 2019. But other than Epstein's name, the forms were completely redacted. So, basically redacted lists of the plane passengers. Again, more data information, but there's no client list showing the rapists, the pedophiles. Like you've been had a little bit by hype. There are other things going on. Maybe I'm not denying anything. I'm just saying. Can you not see this clearly? I'm trying to show it to you.
And they released some of the forms from that inspection, thanks to a FOIA by the Miami Herald, Julie Brown. But other than Epstein's name, the forms were completely redacted. So we don't know what they might have uncovered on that plane. Maybe nothing, but we don't know. Since it was all redacted, that would be included in the Epstein files. There's some maybe more flight records we don't have. We do have some flight logs. There are additional FAA records, additional evidence from his home that I mentioned earlier in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The former Attorney General for the USVI.
Wait, what was that?
Islands.
So possible additional flight logs and FAA records. And what else? What else did he just say? He
additional
said
evidence
a few quick things
from his home that I mentioned earlier in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The former Attorney General for the USVI filed a lawsuit against Epstein's estate after he died, alleging
so former Attorney General of the Virgin Islands filed a civil racketeering lawsuit. Is this the same one that included J.P. Morgan? Let's find out. Are you familiar with the lawsuit against Epstein by the former Attorney General civil racketeering lawsuit against Epstein's estate after former Attorney General for the USVI Virgin Islands. Dennis N. George, former Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands. In fact, it is lawsuit versus Epstein's estate, filed by George. And then later in December 2022, after this was settled, it was versus J.P. Morgan Chase by the same George. Kind of like deeper legal information here. I don't think we'll be getting into this out there on the streets, but maybe. Yeah. So and this was the lawsuit. See, J.P. Morgan Chase was basically accused of turning a blind eye, and they even went as far as naming like executives and high-level executives in the J.P. Morgan Chase thing. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, they got hit. Like justice happened. I mean, according to this, I could be wrong exactly what happened to those executives, etc. We might have to find out. That's what we're doing this for, right? Let me see here. We got some calls though. I got somebody here we got California. Hey, California, appreciate your call. Your name and you're California.
William
But what's
in
your
California. William.
How you doing, William? Welcome to the stream.
Nick, let me turn this down. I don't want you to get no feedback.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yesterday, and how you doing? Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I looked at your show yesterday. It was pretty good.
Thank you, man.
I got to give you credit, man. You handled something really good. I think that was also horrible of whoever that woman was, and that's how this Epstein stuff got out of control in the first place. A lot of this malicious gossip, everybody can attack it and look at it, and it's just like the JFK files. You can sit up there and play around with it all you want. It doesn't affect my life in any kind of way. I'm not going to sit up there and advocate that it's okay to do this kind of stuff. But
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that call.
yeah,
I just had to clear it up,
this is
right?
where
All this.
you handled it really good. You handled it better than I did, because when she said we don't want to hear that, I don't give a damn what you want to hear. Because the thing is you're sitting there playing games with Jesse Lee Peterson's name, and that's how things get started. And that's the evil. I heard you say that's evil, and it is evil.
Right. Put respect on the name.
Now, on respect, man, on respect. I didn't want to share this with James because he has kids listening to his show.
Right.
You and me, we can talk because I got respect for your show too. You ain't gonna be no cursing. You ain't got to, producers ain't got to put their hand on the button.
That's right.
Okay, because ain't gonna be no cursing. But it's gonna be
That's
a little.
right.
It's gonna be adult like. It's gonna be an adult thing when I'm getting ready to say. Now, the game. And I put my pen down. The game is sold, not told. Have you ever heard that term?
No, just now. I'm getting put on right now, I think.
Put it together when you start talking about prostitutes and soliciting and all of that nasty, sadistic stuff. The game is sold, not told.
I can gather.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You are not to tell. You are to sell.
Show, don't tell.
And you are supposed to make the connect so that you can collect. And that's the pimping. So
Rhyming required.
seen-
Part of pimping.
hey, how many times have I been to L.A., Oakland, International Boulevard, what's that, Figueroa, which they call Figueroa.
Oh, I didn't
How
know
many
that,
times?
but it makes sense.
How
I
many
actually know
times-
about
how many
Figueroa.
times? Right. How many times have you seen a 17, 16-year-old out there hoeing?
Oh, you know,
And about the Epstein
I
Island,
don't.
you know
I've,
what?
I've passed down that street maybe once or twice,
They be out there, man. It's
so I don't really know.
It's crazy, but here's the thing.
I bet.
We got all this gossip around this stuff, but see, I guarantee you, nobody that is involved with this, I don't think that these women or young ladies had no duct tape on their wrist and over their mouth when they went over there.
I see what you're saying. It rubbed people the wrong way, but where is Jesse wrong when he was saying everybody that was there wanted to be there? They traveled by plane, they traveled by train. Now I don't know all the details, but
high pants. Yeah, I don't know the details either, but
I
I've
think
seen
he's
the
somewhat
game.
right about
I'm not
that.
in the game.
Yeah.
I am not in the game, but I know the game, and there's plenty of underage prostitution
Loud and
going on
clear.
in the streets. So what we gonna do? We gonna
In
crack down all of
America,
them
okay,
too?
I see you. Loud and clear.
America.
Yeah, loud and clear. I see what you're saying.
Okay, they always out there, and a lot of them. You go to Seattle, Oakland,
They're not checking ID.
LA, and they're there. Ain't nobody checking no ID. That's right. San Diego with all the soldiers, plenty of that crap going on. But I think the fascination here is that they're hoping and wishing that Trump is on that list. But if he was, the DOJ of Joe Biden would have definitely brought it out by now.
And I gather too, whatever that means, Trump is on that list. As we're coming to find out here, researching this a little bit, when people say, "Is Trump on that list?" It's actually a very shallow, uneducated thing to say, because what list are you talking about? Are you talking about the
What
list
list
of
do you
passengers?
think?
And if it's a list of passengers, what does that mean? If it's a list of transactions, like what are you talking about? Because it seems like the smart people don't agree that there's a list that says he's a pedophile. There's maybe a list that says that he did this or that, but the public won't understand that.
Yeah. That stuff has no impact on my life. Is it bad? It's horrible. It's nasty. It's sadistic. But I'm not interested in it. A lot of this is a distraction to keep this man from doing his job in the executive office. And I'm good. We got caught up in this thing. I told James, we got caught up in this thing for decades with the JFK files, and they just sealed them.
They just sealed what?
The JFK files.
Oh,
John F. Kennedy assassination. We were fascinated with that stuff, for years.
I
They
heard
were
you say that,
fascinated with
actually.
that stuff.
I didn't know it was like
Yeah.
that kind of thing for that long.
And it was for decades. And Trump was going to open those files his first term, but he said it was so horrible that he decided at the last minute not to. Because there's a lot of big players in this game. Like I said, the game is sold, not told. You just mentioned J.P. Morgan. That's a pretty heavy player. See what I'm saying? And that's just one name.
Mm-hmm. You know what's another thing I was thinking about this too, because there's
What's that name?
I noticed I'm looking at some. I might play it here later. I think even Mike Johnson, right, Speaker of the House, at least vocally loyal to Trump. I think even he was saying something like, "Hey, you know what? I'm thinking we should release the list." And he said something like this. I'll get the quote later, but he said something to the effect of, "The public deserves to know." And so it kind of surprised me, honestly, because I'm thinking for those that really this needs to be dealt with. I'm thinking that what they're saying is they're not necessarily saying, show me the individual out here, show me the list. I'm thinking that when they say show me the list, that it's a proxy for, hey, let the government deal with the criminals and do the right thing. When I heard when I read that Mike Johnson said that, it's like it trips me out a little bit that maybe that's not true, and maybe it really is a bunch of people saying, no, I want to see the list, and that kind of it tells me that they don't really want justice. They don't really want what I thought they wanted, which is like, oh, get rid of the people that are controlling our politicians.
And this ain't it's not making excuses.
Should that be true or not? You were saying, please repeat that.
It's making no excuses for anybody involved with that stuff. It's just not interesting, really. I mean, just like when Trump announced his candidacy in 2015, all of a sudden, here we come with something about what he said in the locker room. In the locker room with other men. That's garage talk. And what he said is that you can grab them by the...
Oh, yeah.
If you have money. Now, you can get mad at what he said if you want to, because that's actually true. That's actually true. And they killed him on that. They were fixated on it for, 4 years?
Yeah.
Throughout his whole presidency, and it turned out to be what? Nothing.
And use it as evidence in like a different case, the E. Jean Carroll thing with the defamation lawsuit and all that. They used the Access Hollywood tape as so-called evidence. That shouldn't even be talked about.
I really don't care, man. This is still the best president, with the exception of one or two that we've had in the history of this country. And he's doing his job. They're mad that they're losing all the court battles. They're mad at the deportation, illegals. It is illegal to be in this country illegally. It just is. You can listen to CNN and let them tell you it's not. Here's the deal. They cannot vote. I told you this before. They cannot vote on a national level. They want those illegals in sanctuary cities and states to obtain more seats in the House of Representatives. That is a fact. They can't vote. Your seats are based on your population in your district.
Right.
And so they're going to order a bunch of people that are here illegally to be residents so that they could grab power. That's all this is. It's a power play. But they got blown out of the water in the 2024 elections. Kamala Harris wasn't even close.
Right, man, right. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like when I said that this game that they were playing on this island is not an old game. It's not that fascinating. It's kind of crazy of how powerful some of these people are, and just like the JFK files, there was people that was too powerful to even bring that out. Now that they might release the JFK thing, you have to realize a lot of the players are dead now. So it don't matter. They might bring that out. The Epstein thing, I don't know. Maybe. They might bring it out. They might bring it out. If they do, they do. They don't, they don't. You get what I'm saying? That's not
no, I understand. Kind of feel the same way.
You're talking about
And
people that got all the money in the world. You hear what I said? They got all the money in the world. Okay,
Mhm.
and I too can play that game. I don't have all the money in the world. I got all the money in the state. Okay,
Oh.
to do anything I want with women. Do I take advantage of them on that? No, I don't have to. Because my pimp hand is too good. I don't have to do that. You know, but they have people that engage in those things because they wouldn't be able to pull these women otherwise. And then how sadistic, it's very sadistic to be messing around with underage women. We were talking about this woman that you were talking to yesterday, was talking about what's the age of consent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it 18? Okay, how about this?
It's
What's the
16
age
to
of
18
consent?
and depending across America. Not 15 to 18.
Depending
It's
on the state,
16
correct?
to 18. Right.
Okay. Which you should have asked her, because I know you was right in the middle of tearing her apart. But we don't want to hear it. I don't care what you want to hear. Because Jesse wasn't implying soliciting anything or anybody. He was talking about what's the current events. And
Right.
so if she thinks that's so bad, how about this? What's the age of consent? How about this? What's the age to make a decision to turn a little boy into a little girl?
A fine
At
question.
18. Very fine question. At 8 years old, 9 years old, my son is now a girl.
Yeah, it's like it's either like a on purpose ignorance, or which is a strange comment, but or true ignorance, that thinking that age of consent means what you would like. What age of consent doesn't mean what you like, your desires. It's just a legal term about
All those
that
women
denotes
all
when
those
when
women,
when someone is old enough to
Yeah,
legally
yeah,
say
yeah,
that they can decide who to have sex with.
that's right. And yes, my player hand is good still. You know, I see him in the chat, you know, and all these women that's sitting up there talking about what I can do and all of this and everything with my money. Yes, I can do everything I want to do with my money because it is my money. And that goes for J.P. Morgan, Donald Trump, and all these billionaires. They do what they want to do with their money. And I don't count their money. I don't count nobody's money but my own. And I don't
Loud
use
and
it
clear,
to get
William.
what I want. As far as human beings, I don't use it for that. But I get anything else I want to have, I obtain it because I want it.
Loud and clear, William. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, so, I just had to give you your props on how you handled that yesterday,
man.
because it couldn't be me sitting up here 6'4.5" telling me what you don't want to hear. I don't give a damn what you want to hear, because that's evil what you tried to say about Jesse, and I didn't. Oh man, that made me so mad. It was like, what?
Nah, but we can't be getting mad though. We cannot be getting mad.
Well, no, here's the deal. On a Sunday in the church, hey, how about this? They pimp and hoe on Sundays.
Hey,
They give
we talk
sex
about
changes
it's
to
a real
little
church.
kids.
We talk about real things. And Jesse tried to,
In real life,
at the
in
moment
real
it got a
life,
little too. Jesse does not want hype and emotion. That's one thing he does not want at church. And once it started getting like that, he ended it right there. We got to church. It's honestly was
Yeah.
it might be a
mean,
it might be
dude,
a
wait a
little spicy for some of the more gentler
for
hearted
somebody
Christians
that got
out there.
tender ears. Yeah. But here's the deal: do pimps and hoes take the day off on Sunday?
Some do, maybe. I gather some do.
I doubt it. When the money comes, they got to get on there 10 toes down. They got to get them toes on the ground. That's how they play that game. And that game is so crazy. It's been around forever, soliciting. It's in every city.
Well, William, I think we spent plenty on this. Can you call me again?
I'm glad you handled it good, though, man.
Thank you, William. Appreciate that.
All right.
Oh, and shout out, William, man. Thank you for your call and being a professional, making it happen. All the money in the state, man. Hey, shout out. Drop a little in the bucket for Bond, man. Appreciate that, sir. Call me again.
I'm not going to apologize for it either.
Hey, nobody's asking you to.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying, you got people that think that you got to apologize to
Yeah.
for any kind of sex you have in life. I'm not doing that.
Nice, man. Rebuildingtheman.com/donate.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it, Will. Call me again.
Take it easy. All right.
Drop a few for JLP's fund. No, the grant. Challenge grant. All right.
that he used his.
Let's chow on the chowder. Chad, are you getting your gains? Are you getting your gains? What are you doing? 844-900-2229. We were dealing with what is supposedly still the Epstein files, what we don't know. Supposedly and it is so far. We'll corroborate some. We'll have to do some of that. Where did I put the... So stuff from his Epstein's computers, the second raid of his Manhattan mansion, CDs, unknown if the FBI has investigated and examined those CDs from the second raid of his Manhattan mansion, the USVI properties. This article, Julie wrote this article, works for the Herald. Herald employees were told that that Epstein's employees were removed stuff before the USVI investigation. There was another batch of stuff from 2005, Palm Beach. Lawyers kept access to these files. No knowledge of FBI got their hands on them or even examined them. They were returned to Epstein in 2008. Claims his people claimed that the security cameras were only used for security purposes. However, claims from accusers do say that it's blackmail. That's all the Herald. We'll have to cite this later, just for my own notes. FBI Vault. There's also stuff that is reported in the FBI Vault there, which they have released on their website, with, of course, all sorts of redactions, and journalists have been attempting to get those unredacted for a while. And that is the so-called Epstein files. There's a little bit more. The redacted list of plane passengers, flight logs, FAA records. That's pretty much where we were.
Former Attorney General for the USVI filed a lawsuit against Epstein's estate after he died, alleging that he used his Virgin Islands business as a shell company to conduct illegal activities, including child sex trafficking at his island home. The case was settled out of court. None of the evidence in that case was ever made public. Presumably, that is material that is accessible and could be released. There's also been several federal grand juries that have heard evidence against Epstein. We don't know what was presented. Those are secret and under seal. That is something that, again, if you were promising to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein materials, you would release what was presented to two federal grand juries in his two cases. Then we come to the investigation of his death. They did release the video with the 1 minute missing of the Epstein death, but there are other things we don't know. Were the inmates in his cells next to him, near him, were they ever interviewed? Who else was ever on the floor, right? There are elements of the death investigation that have not been released. Finally, here's the one that really gets me the most, because immediately people want to go to the salacious and obviously into the things that directly affected the victims, be it the child sex trafficking. But the thing that has always just piqued my interest the most about the Epstein case is, how did he make his money? I asked Julie Brown about this directly in that interview that we linked to below if you want to go watch it, and the answers are just extremely unsatisfying. Yeah,
the video, I think that's it. It kind of turns into opinions and stuff here. Conjecture. Fine question, sure. It's a fine question. Where did he get his money? Sounds like Tucker a bit. Yeah, are they a little bit? Is Tucker and this guy kind of a little bit into asking questions? Like, sure, there's a fine question, but you can also ask questions in a propaganda type way. I'm not even qualifying that statement. Let's move on.
Who was giving him money? Were they involved in the child sex part of it at all? How did this guy, who we don't have any evidence that he was a big successful investor, he kind of came out of nowhere career-wise. He was a teacher for a while. How did he make so much money to be able to have planes, to be able to put his name on buildings at Harvard? There I think are just a million questions that could lead to potentially relevant answers about other people who are implicated in this. Maybe Maybe it would lead to answers about why this has been covered up so long, why he got such a sweetheart deal initially. It's unclear whether the FBI ever even investigated his banking and business affairs. You would assume that he did, but we don't have any details about that. And then there were a lot of other very wealthy men who have been on the flight logs, who've been accused of having sex by some of his victims. Were they just paying him off? But again, even if I don't know, could you live the lifestyle of a billionaire just from pedophile sex payoffs? I wouldn't think so, but maybe. So to me, like, that is just a huge missing piece of this story, that if you're going to want to educate people about what really happened and have accountability, you would follow the money. You would figure out who was financing this guy, figure out why were they financing him. Was it because they thought he was such a great investment? That seems wrong. So were they financing him just solely for protection?
I don't know. Isn't that your job to find out? I'm just an anchor baby.
Because they were going to his island and sleeping with 16-year-olds. I don't like that. Is a big missing piece that I think is a legitimate line of inquiry for anybody that wants wants accountability and wants to see more information about what is in these so-called Epstein files.
Bulwark Takes is sponsored by Soul.
Whatever. Bye-bye, ads. We're not buying it. But I'm not saying it's a bad product. I don't know what it is.
Hello, my name is Alexander Yermak. Until 2022, I was a musician, and now I am a soldier. In this war, I meet the best people of my life. Brave ones.
Zelensky. Is that an ad to join the Ukraine army?
We defend freedom like no one else, using brains, innovation, and technologies.
Innovation.
This first aid kit will save the lives of our soldiers, and we will continue our fight. White Store.
Nice. It's an ad.
Soul.com.
Files. There are
Soul.com. Promo code.
Sum up what is in the Epstein files. There are the computers, particularly from the Manhattan home that we know were seized by the FBI. Potentially, there are the tapes and the video cameras in his various homes. There are the redacted records from the U.S. Marshal Service and the FBI that we know have already been released, but with heavy, heavy redactions to such a degree that you really can't decipher them. There's some additional FAA records, might tell us a little bit more about where the planes were going, who was on them. There's the evidence that was presented to the two grand juries. There was the evidence, or lack thereof, in the Epstein death investigation, and then any information in any of these investigations related to his financial records. So you don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat person, crazy conspiracy person. Oh, I think there's a little black book that has all the perpetrators. It's not that.
I told you.
Series of different buckets of information that we have, that we know, either in some cases that we know that the FBI, the federal government has, or we have reason to believe they have, that could be released to shed more light on this and maybe bring more people to account and who knows, be able to discover that the President of the United States.
Mic check. Am I still coming in? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's some of what's in, like, we're just kind of gathering some of these threads. We'll get the links and all that, flesh that out later, but we got that. What are the Epstein files, right? I want to know more about these accusers. The accusers. What are the Epstein files? Now, I want to know more about these accusers a little bit. Let's see what we could do here. What do you guys think? Should I do My Man on the Street live? I shouldn't even ask you guys. It's not a question you can answer. You can tell me what you like, what you want. You guys just want to see it live, obviously. Okay. No, actually, we should do what are the actual cases? Just kind of a brief overview of the cases, maybe. The lawsuits. Make us wait, Nick. What's up, Terry? Thanks for your super chat. Let me see what y'all are saying here. Live is unreliable. So true. But Jesse's won't be. But don't worry about that so much. All right, y'all. Let's see here. Thanks, members. Appreciate my members over there on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thanks for all the coffees. Somebody. Thank you for that. Thank you, Cheddar Bob. Thanks for the coffees. Buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby. And Terry, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. So it reads, more money than Wealthy William will ever donate. Oh, starting a donation war? Oh no, I don't want one of those. No, but you don't know if he's donated or not. You don't know that. We don't release the list. Who's on the list? The Bond client list. Redacted. Thank you for your super chat. Alrighty. Now, let's see here. So we have the 2005 to 2008 Florida investigation, right? That's Epstein. Well, this is pretty good. AP's got a good one on this. Timeline. I'm sure all of you know this, so it might be a little boring. Yep. 2005, Palm Beach, Florida. So, yeah. Family of a 14-year-old girl reports she was molested at his mansion. What were you doing at his mansion? Poor girl, right? Shouldn't have happened. If that's not what she wanted, shouldn't have happened. And maybe even if she wanted it, probably shouldn't have happened either, right? In the eyes of the law. I mean, I don't care, but that's what they're going after. Where were we? Look, 2005 ends up in a 2008 conviction. Okay, so we can file that all under the same thing there. 2005 to 2008. Florida. Okay. Convicted. Okay. (2007, 2008). He's released from jail. And so it does come all the way to 2019, the 2019 stuff. 2019 federal charges, right? That's Florida and New York. Okay. Now, kind of related, we'll put it under the list. 2020 Ghislaine Maxwell. Sex trafficking, conspiracy, transportation of minors for illegal sexual activity. France had opened a lawsuit. 2009. Huh. Where did I just see that? Okay, so those are like the big cases. Got a bunch of civil lawsuits too. (2008) Jane Doe's versus Epstein. That was that case. $50 million each in settlements. Huh. 2016. I don't think I want to research Epstein and have romantic music playing in the background. I don't think that's what I want to do. Where were we? Collecting 2016. This was dropped. Never mind. 2017. Sarah. Why is that a name that sounds familiar? Sarah Ransom versus Epstein and Maxwell. 2018 victim attorney. What is this? Victim-attorney. A victim attorney. What is that? Victim attorney Bradley Edwards. What the F is a victim attorney? Are you telling me you're an attorney for victims, or are you telling me that you're a victim and an attorney? What are you saying to me? Bradley Edwards. What the F is a victim attorney? What? Okay, a victim attorney is just a lawyer who represents victims, particularly underage girls. I mean, that's just a lawyer. Can't you just be a lawyer? The attorney of the victim, Nick. Come on. Okay, my bad. I thought they were saying like a hyphenated American, like a black American, like a victim attorney. I was once a victim, but now I'm an attorney, and I'm a victim still, and I'll represent all victims because I was a victim. Like, I thought it was like a political thing, a victim attorney. Jeez. They put the hyphen. You're telling me you didn't... It could have looked like it, okay? Like political language. It could have happened to anybody. Anybody would have thought that. Okay. 2018. And then 2 more girls. Where's Virginia Giuffre? Where's Virginia Giuffre? Oh, it's because the Virginia Giuffre thing was against Prince Andrew. She filed this against Prince Andrew, 2021. And 2015, it was Giuffre versus Ghislaine Maxwell. And there was the untold millions that she settled for in 2017. She also filed a sworn statement in a Crime Victims' Rights Act suit, which briefly included allegations against Prince Andrew and Dershowitz. But her affidavit was later removed. She also was an anonymous Jane Doe in the 2009 lawsuit, settled for reportedly around $500,000. 2009. So she'd been at this. I know you probably heard this. I know Hake probably laid this out nicely, but that is interesting. She'd been at this, but never found peace. You know, I think someone called me the other day too. They're like, Nick, I think Giuffre, someone killed her. Someone killed Giuffre. You know, looking at this now myself here, what did they kill her for? I think I heard this someone say this, but now it clicks. Now it makes sense. What would she's been yapping and running her mouth for years. And now we have to get her. It's like, no, now they really had to get her and silence her before she said another. Oh, I really am bouncing this camera a lot. Jeez. Before blah 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 happens, right? Folks, she's been yapping for decades. She's been yapping for years. I think it's more likely that an individual who makes their life about retribution would lead a very dark life. Would lead not a good life, because that's not good. They might be necessary, or not retribution, but justice. Things may have to happen in the physical world, but if you make your life, your identity, your internal world about that. If you keep it's about what you keep your mind on, right? If you keep your mind on, you'll tell yourself, I'm just protecting children. I'm a protector of children. But what's your mind literally on constantly? Terrible rapes of children. That would make you a really evil person. That's what people don't get. It's kind of a weird one to try and understand. But that makes you an evil person, because what's your mind on? What's your mind constantly on? It's on evil. Your mind is constantly on evil. Even if you tell yourself, but it's for justice, retribution. I'm getting the bad guys. I'm not one of them. What's your mind on? What's your mind on constantly? But Nick, someone has to have their mind on this. Then how will there be justice? Well, apparition, I don't think you understand good. Look, I'm talking out loud here, but tell me where I'm wrong. 844-900-2229. Think about it. If your mind is on constantly, it's on protecting children, but it's like, what is your mind on? It's like these pedo hunters out there. What is their mind constantly on? Like, it's one thing to be like, you know what? Hey, let's say a random person asked me, hey, Nick, should pedophiles be in jail? Well, sure, yeah. But we're talking about the people who are like constantly have their mind on it, right? What is your mind? When the rubber meets the road, what is your mind actually on? Pretty dark stuff, okay? And you don't lead a life full of light that way. Because what is your mind constantly on? Je suis mon dit, aye. Gisselmondi. Where were we? Bradley Edwards. That's it with that. Oh, that's right. Virginia Giuffre. So Bradley Edwards, 2018. Maria Farmer, whoever these people are. Hey, caller. Who do we have on the air?
Robert in Kansas.
What's up, Robert? How you doing, sir?
Oh, hey, Nick. Doing well. Hope you're okay.
All is well, man. All is well.
So what's wrong with our President Trump?
What you mean?
Is he a pedophile?
What makes you say that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, and it might just be an act, like I've always called all this theater, so it might just be a game. But
what is?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he is a pedophile. I'm just saying he's acting like a pedophile, bro.
What makes you say that?
Well, okay, so we have this flooding in Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or not Kansas, in Texas. We probably have some in Kansas, but anyway, it is flooding in Texas. And Trump looks at the camera and says, how can you even ask about Epstein? We have this tragedy. And I'm sitting there going, dude, are you, I mean, that is some incredibly guilty shit to say. Okay? Like, that's real bad. Like, yeah, we have a problem in Texas. Okay, yeah, it's a big flooding tragedy. Okay. You can't handle two things at once. It's
sounds like you really want to add to it.
I really want Trump to do what he told us he would do when we elected him.
I didn't elect him to do that.
You elected him to build a wall, right?
Yeah.
He can't build a wall. Yeah, one executive order could build a wall.
Hmm.
One executive order.
I'm just saying, you said we voted for him for this, and I'm telling you I did it. You could say a different statement to try and get out of that, but that's just, I'm telling you, here I am, one of those people. You said
voted for Trump.
I did not vote to release the Epstein files. But you said, what did you also say? You said what he promised? What did he promise?
He promised to build a wall.
What did he promise about the Epstein stuff?
No, he just won't do it. There's too much.
What did he promise about the
traffic.
Epstein stuff?
I don't know. He promised to tell the truth, and he's obviously lying now.
What did he promise about the Epstein files?
Well, I don't know what he promised. Whatever he promised.
So you don't know what he promised, and you said I'm mad at Trump because he's not doing his promise about the Epstein files, and you don't even know what he promised? So you just want to hate. Isn't that a pretty evil thing to do?
Hey, he promised whatever he promised.
What did he promise about the Epstein files?
I don't know what I have to explain to you about what's on the news.
How about answer the question? What did he promise about the Epstein files?
He promised what he promised, Nick.
What was that? Wait, hold on. Wait, save what you're saying. I want the stream to hear it. I think we dropped. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, stream, are we back? Hey, folks. I think we're back. Sorry about that, Robert.
Yeah. No, we're fine, bro.
You were just in the middle of saying, of course, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
you, man.
No problem at all. I always take your call, sir. But you were saying, I was saying that you were lying now, and about what specifically? Just what you just said sounded, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but it sounded like a lie that Trump's promised he would release these files.
Well, Trump said all the things he did on camera, sir. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything that's not recorded, right? So I'm not trying to lie on Trump, or I'm not. Hey, listen, Nick, dude, why do you think, like you were talking to David the other day, telling David that he's lying to you, and it's like,
Because
man,
you did.
you're
You
not
said,
understanding.
hold on. Let's remember what just happened,
Yeah.
though. Let's just so that we can. It's not. I'm saying I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not saying that you're overarching a liar. I'm just simply saying the statement you just made. I'm not thinking about Robert. I'm not thinking about the person. Just the statement you just said about Trump promising. You said he promised this. And I asked you, what did he promise? You said, I don't know. Whatever he promised. Finally, we got to the exact wording of what you believe he promised, and you said that he promised to release the files. And you added that in after saying he said something about being transparent or whatever, and that he promised to release the files. And that's when I jumped in and said, "Now you're lying." So tell us, are you lying, or do you believe you're not lying about that statement that you added in about and he promised to release the files? Just to get that clear, right? Just to get these little details clear, because it's not this is the only thing I'm talking about.
Nick, maybe I'm lying to you, brother, but
No. Just clearly, on that alone, did Trump promise to release? Yeah, because he didn't. He didn't say that. He said, "Yeah, we might be." Someone asked him about, would you be willing to declassify Epstein stuff, and I think also the other stuff, JFK and all that. He's like, "Yeah, we'll look into it," something like that. Remember? I forget exactly the quote, but it was something like that. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Nick,
and he also said maybe not, because there's a lot of lies there. But go ahead.
No, you're right. I'm making it all up, or I'm just lying.
Or just
JFK.
No, but why are you doing?
No,
why are you
JFK
doing
was
this thing? Why are you doing this thing? You're doing this thing, Robert. 'Cause I know you a little bit. Where you're like, well, okay, Nick, you just throw your hands up. And you're like, maybe I'm lying. I'm not trying to get you to say something that I want. I'm just asking you a simple question. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you don't, tell me where I'm wrong.
Nick, do you understand, bro, that I am just a normal guy? Okay? I'm not calling you to lie to you, bro.
And I'm not saying you are. I just want to, again, Robert, you're going down the wrong path. I'm not saying you're calling to just lie to me outrightly and that everything you say is a lie.
Okay.
Just simply, did Trump promise to release the Epstein files?
You won't let me talk. Nick.
Go ahead.
You won't let me talk. But
because you won't answer the question. But just answer the question, then you could talk all you want.
The people who run the world are lying to you, brother. Normal folks are not lying to you. Okay, they got nothing to gain. Okay, the people who run the world are the ones lying to you, not some guy in Kansas who's just a normal guy. All right, so
you got the wrong impression of me, Robert. That you think I'm out here trying to figure out who's lying, and that I'm worried about who's lying to me because I have some big mission or whatever you think I'm doing here. You got the wrong impression, Robert. I'm just trying to talk to people about what I really believe and spread and continue to spread this message of turning away from anger. Besides that, I'm just a guy just like you, a regular guy speaking about how I really believe. So I'm not looking to just believe what anybody says. I don't care if it's normal or a rich person or not. Should it be Robert or anybody else? When you come here on the show and you say Trump promised XYZ and he didn't, or he did, I just want to get that clear. So did Trump promise to release the Epstein files?
Nick, my answer to you is that Trump did not promise to release the Epstein files. He said things that he said about it, which are all on tape. So I don't know why we have to even talk about this.
But we could. There's nobody saying. Wait, hold on. What are you saying there? You're saying why do we have to talk about this? You mean talk about things in an accurate way?
I'm not telling you, Nick, that you need to believe anything that is not on.
No, you said why do we have to talk about this? You don't want to talk about things in an accurate way. I can agree that Trump. Said that he might declassify it, and that people around him said stuff, and Cash and Pam Bondi said even a lot more. I can agree with all the facts, but can't we just we can get the facts right? And the fact remains is Trump did not promise what you said, right? Then we can move on from that. I mean, I think everybody here can understand what I'm saying here, right? Like, this is how you have a conversation, sir. even about these things.
Yeah, and it looks like the fact is that Trump was on the Epstein client list and at the island, and maybe he didn't rape children, but he's still involved with the same Mossad control mechanism, and he doesn't want it to get out that he is ran by a foreign nation, and that nation is against America, and they continue to ship in foreigners and to ship our business out of the country and to continue to destroy America left, right, and center. And if you support the modern nation of Israel, you are against America. And that's what Mr. Trump doesn't want you to know, I think, is that we have the people who control the money, and then we have the people. And he's for the money. He's not for the people. So we'll see what Mr. Trump does, but
Yeah,
man,
we'll
if
see.
he takes us to war, yeah, just know that's
All right.
you know, you might get drafted, Anchor Baby. You're young, you're kind of young, you know. So we'll see what
All right.
happens,
Well,
man.
thanks for your call,
But, yo,
man.
no, maybe,
It's a lot of conjecture.
maybe
It's a
Trump
whole
is-
that whole response was a huge jump to conclusions, but hey, I hear
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear y'all out. You know how I am.
and maybe Trump is a great man, Anchor Baby, and I'll be proven wrong. And I'll talk to you about that later. I'll call you back and let you know. Okay?
Of
I'll be like,
course.
hey, Anchor Baby, I was so wrong.
You
Yes,
said
sir.
you were so
Okay.
what?
If I was so wrong, and
Yeah,
Trump
yeah,
turns
yeah.
out to be a good, I'll call you back and I'll say, hey, brother, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Hey, fair enough,
Okay.
man. You wouldn't even have to apologize to me because hey, you're always welcome. Hey, appreciate your call, sir.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye, Nick.
All right, take
Let you
care.
hang up. See ya. Bye.
You know, like everybody's always welcome to call 888-844-900-2229. Amazing. Let's see here. Where was we? Where was we? Thank you, Lin Yen Chin. Appreciate your super chat. Robert and I both have IQ of 72. Being black, I am also paranoid and insane to a similar degree. That's why Trump has offered to help us out by tying us into the morphing grid as space Power Rangers. That's amazing news, Lin Yen Chin. And I, for one, am glad to hear it first here on the American Anchor Baby. Thank you for that. Thank you for your support, sir. Lin Yen Chin has some pretty interesting conversations with the machine, with the robot. I'll just leave it at that. I won't dox. I'm 72 IQ and blat. That's just making me crack up for some reason. Being black, I am also paranoid and insane to a similar degree. That's cracking me up for some reason. Where was we? Okay. Epstein, that's the cases. Now, I want to know a little bit more about these accusers. Some I didn't know. Sarah, Bradley, Maria. Get the Giuffre details right because they're just so good. In the sense that, like, I mean, here you have kind of like a perfect story, narrative from beginning to end of someone making their whole thing about this. I heard she was even an activist about some of this stuff, no? Made their life about this trauma. And ended up with a pretty dark life, ended up in suicide. So we'll get some of those details here real quick. And then I think we can move on. I think we can maybe prepare for Jesse's White History Month stuff. How's that short I posted on JLP? Is it doing nice? You know, I got to work on this maybe. My shorts... or maybe rusty. Let me know if this short on Jesse Lee Peterson's channel is kind of jarring or something. I thought we got the whole Ardeen call in there, though.
Okay, when you're talking about racism, basically in California, I grew up in the LA area, moved to Simi Valley, part of white flight in Simi Valley in the 60s. There was a big white flight coming from that whole area. There was...
Ardeen. We love Ardeen. So, I'm getting distracted here. Sorry, ADD. I think that's the timeline I wanted. And then, of course, he dies, kills himself, whatever. 2019. Maxwell sentenced to prison 2022. But we already got that recorded, I think. Yeah, right here. Ghislaine Maxwell. All right, I think we're happy with that. Pardon. Okay.
States or some of his close friends are implicated.
Okay, so I think that's it with that. Ghislaine. Yeah, the accusers, I think. That's what we need. You need pics of old white ladies with gold grills in the background. Kevin Howe, you're reminding me of something actually. I made a note for myself because William said something hilarious. I think on the Hake report. Yeah. He said something about, I think William said something funny about if anybody on that island was even so much as handed a barbecue plate, Biden would have known or something and revealed it or something like that. And that's just so funny. Like, I almost wanted to make a shirt out of that. Like, I almost wanted to make like some kind of blinged out, like take a picture of Epstein, kind of bling him out a little bit, and and I don't know, something about like, and have like a grandma hand him a plate, have like a grandma, make it like a hood shirt, like one of those like bling hood shirts, kind of like Dripper Drone, kind of like one of these, like a. So that's Biden. That's Biden, and kind of like one of these, like a Dripper Drone shirt. Biden, he's like got the zoomer hair. He's got the waves. They gave him AirPods. They got the blinged out text. Something like this, but it's Epstein and grandma's handing him a plate, a barbecue plate, and it's like, I don't know. The text is something like, I don't know. The text is something like, I don't know. This is very fresh. Something like, does your boyfriend no, does your man wanna, should I make your man a plate? No. Should I fix him up a plate? Or just like fix him up a plate. Make sure you fix him up a plate. I don't know. And then I don't know. It's a work in progress. I literally just thought about it. Like, fix up a plate for Epstein, you know? Like, he's valid at the cookout kind of thing. I don't know. We'll work on it. Why do we have Glorilla right now? What is this? Like a drip or drone. Okay. Where were we? Man on the street. Accusers.
Ghislaine Maxwell approached me at the spa area. She was like this really bright Mary Poppins kind of a figure. And she said, oh, you're reading a book on massage therapy. And, you know, we started talking. And she goes, oh, you know what? I know this guy. There's an opportunity, actually. If you want to become a real massage therapist, we can get you trained. You can come for the interview tonight. And if he likes you, then you'll be a real masseuse. And you'll get to see the world, and you'll get paid $200 per massage. And no alarm bells went off because it was this proper English lady who just looked so nice.
Epstein's victims have talked about how they weren't sure who this guy was, but because Ghislaine seemed so proper, surely it's got to be legit.
I wonder at what point. I just wonder at what point did Virginia Giuffre realize, hey, this isn't what I thought it was. I wonder at what point when she was getting paid for the massages, when she was traveling, when she was getting gifts. I think we'll get that straight. I think all that happened. I wonder at what point did she realize, oh, this is sinister. It wasn't exactly. Yeah. According to her own statements and testimony, Virginia Giuffre traveled internationally, received gifts while associated with Jeffrey Epstein. We'll corroborate all that in a minute here, trying to get it straight for the folks here when we go out there, man, on the street. But I just wonder, right, at what point did she realize,
You'll be a real masseuse, and you'll get to see the world.
I wonder what she thought to herself. I'm not a normal masseuse,
And you'll get paid $200 per massage, and no alarm bells went off because it was this
right. When did the alarm bells go off? Is what I'm asking.
Proper English lady who just looked so nice.
Epstein's victims have talked about how they weren't sure who this guy was, but because Ghislaine seemed so proper, surely it's got to be legit. Her posh upbringing, her accent, gave this veneer of respectability. Coming from a woman, I think that was incredibly manipulative, and I think it was absolutely critical in Epstein's operation.
It's critical. Thank you for adding to something I've been saying here, sir. Bespectacled individual here, sir.
Woman, I think that was.
Yeah. He says she was vital.
And I think it was absolutely critical in Epstein's operation.
Absolutely critical. In fact, sir, let me inform you about something. Maybe not all. Let me just calm down here. But it's a known thing, and it goes far back. Women are an integral part of the sex trafficking, prostitution, sex work, they call it, world. Okay, they are a critical, integral part of the whole thing. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. And I don't mean because you need to abuse them and force them to do things. No, because they are integral. They recruit. It's a known thing. Brothel mistresses who led the ladies was a woman.
My dad brought me over. He shakes hand with Ghislaine, who promises that she'll take good care of me and she will have someone drive me home. She led me up a staircase and we made a right into Jeffrey's room, and Jeffrey laying naked on the massage table. Jeffrey lifts his head up, looks at Ghislaine. Ghislaine looks at him, and I call it the Cheshire cat grin.
So it's Ghislaine?
Because his face just went like this, and it was like a nod of approval. Ghislaine got me quickly into here's the lotions, here's the oils. We're gonna each take half of his body so you can follow my instructions. It just looked like a legitimate massage. Then they also started asking me questions about my life. I really
the music.
This job. So I opened up to them. I said, look, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I've been on the streets, I've been abused, and that's the worst thing that I could have done, because I just let them know that I'm vulnerable and I'm their perfect type. Ghislaine grabbed.
I don't know. Is that what's implied, Kevin Howe? Was it all out like that, or was he naked but laying down on the massage the massage table, how you do when you're on a massage table. You lay down. You don't let it all hang out. So, is that implied? If it was, then you're left wondering, when did you realize this was not a normal massage? But I guess again, she was young. There's obviously multiple factors here. I'm not a person who's ignorant about such things. It's just that everybody knows she's 14. Everybody knows it's wrong and all those things, and she's impressionable. So let me reiterate all factors that are still at play. Fine.
One foot, I grab the other. And she says you always want to keep one hand on the body when you're massaging somebody.
What's up, Harmony?
And then he turns over. And
there you go. There's your answer, Kevin Howe. Then he turned over.
When you're massaging somebody. And then he turns over. And the entire thing changed.
Oh.
They said, take off your clothes. I had these little girl undies on, like little hearts on them, I remember. And they were laughing at that because they like that. The younger you look, the better it is. It turned very sexual, and it was abuse straight away from both of them.
Come on. Do I just have some like, hold on. What the? That's just a little bit of a strange comment, don't you think? Nah, I'm thinking about it too much, right? Look, terrible things I'm sure happened. But look, she's telling us how he turned around and they asked her to. It sounds like a request. It sounds like they requested her. She barely knew this woman. They weren't, right? You don't have this relationship where you're like, wow, it's like threats or something. It sounded like a request. And then as she didn't say that she agreed to the request, but she does say, they saw my underwear. Forcibly? Like, I'm left with questions, folks. Look. And then she's like, it was abuse straight away. That's just a weird thing to say, no? Isn't that a weird way of recounting history and life and past events that happened to you? I don't go around saying when something happened, when someone was yelling at me or someone I believe something, they acted wrong in some way to me. I don't say, and at that time I believe they were abusing me. Like, you just say what happened. It's like it's almost at that moment I was being abused is almost like a placeholder linguistically as opposed to what you're really thinking, which is what the actual events of the situation, which is how did they see the underwear, Virginia Giuffre? How did that happen? How did their eyes look upon the underwear?
The better it is. It turned very sexual, and it was abuse straight away from both of them. I got paid $200 and the butler drove me home.
They acted very normal about the situation. They tried to validate what had happened. From the outside perspective, you understand the grooming involved and what transpired in that room, paying her heftily for the work that had been done, making it seem like it was appropriate, what had transpired, and then...
She's saying she knew it was wrong from the jump, really. Yeah, essentially. Still, though, got to be better if you're an older adult. Look, I don't like any of this. It's just, it's the topic and all that. And let's even see, I want to know if the public cares about it, really. I want to know, is it MAGA? Is it just like an internal MAGA thing? I want to know, I kind of want to know some of these details. Well, I want to know what people really kind of thinking about it. And it's kind of a good idea to get out there, right? Let's do some different things on the channel. Man on the street.
Inviting her back again.
The shame was immediate. I remember sitting at the bottom of my shower and crying my eyes out. I'd been on the streets and I thought, well, maybe this is the lesser of two evils. I had the promise of an education, and maybe this is just how the world works. If abuse is so prevalent in my life, maybe that's just what it is. That's just life.
For individuals who've been...
I might be wrong, because maybe... What is all this noise? Jeez. Hold up. Had to close up the noise. We got them windows open. Alrighty. Where were we? She died by suicide in April 2025 at age 41 in Western Australia amid going legal and health crises. She's going through legal stuff. She violated a legal order prohibiting her from making contact with her family in February. What? Giuffre had a legal order barring her from contacting her family? She and her husband fought, I believe, says Hake. Shortly before her death, Virginia Giuffre was legally barred from seeing or contacting her children under a family violence restraining order obtained by her husband. Filed in 2025, Robert, her husband, alleged domestic violence and prohibited Virginia from contacting or being near her 3 children until June 2025. Early March, Virginia was charged with breaching that restraining order. She denied all wrongdoing, asserting she did not violate the order. Being separated from her family distressed her. She wrote in her diary, apparently. It's crazy. See, our own hell is what's truly lasting in pain in our lives. Whatever, it's the things that ruin us are mere memories, are mere immaterial things. The spirits, they're the things that so-called ruin us, right? They lead us down terrible paths that make our lives miserable. It's never, you could take the craziest thing, like raped in a dungeon and put away for years. But then after all that happens, the thing that destroys you, the thing that makes your life miserable is thoughts about it and all that. I mean, Virginia's life, she ended up getting money. She had a husband, a family, but your own hell within won't ever let you live in peace. And the big lie is that you have to continuously blame this person that did something to you. It's like Virginia Giuffre, just a victim of suicide, a victim of Epstein and all that. She would be alive today if she wasn't raped. But alive today and what? What would that mean? Miserable like anybody else, like your next person? And hey, maybe that's just life to you. Maybe that's just life. But you know, there's some are Christians. There's this talk of a life you could live. I believe it. And so anyways, it's like, what's the point of being alive then? If only she wasn't raped. If only she forgave. Right? Because it's terrible what happened, right? It's a terrible thing. Test. You're saying I'm on really low volume? How am I coming in? Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this. I think I got a nice amount of stuff there for Epstein. White History Month. Here's what we'll do. Let's see if we can spend 10 minutes on this. I do have to go. Got some editing to finish. We also have Punchy TV, which will be live later today. Punchy TV at 2 p.m. Should be live with the fellas. We'll see what we get into. So I want to prepare for all that and do a couple things here. So I will be leaving in a few minutes here. I'll have to work on Jesse's White History Month jail. I just need to work on Jesse's Man on the Street content a little later. Okay, folks. I think we'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed the little research stream, kicking it back a little bit. We took calls, we did all the super chats and all that. But other than that, folks, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm thinking for more American Anchor Baby. I'm not sure. I might not be live. Friday. We're working on some content here, so make sure you like and subscribe. That way you know what we get up to. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe. That way you know what we're up to, okay? Appreciate it, folks. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, get up.